HCAM News is supported by our viewers and by Hopkinton Drug, located in this historic New England town since 1954. They are a multifaceted store dedicated to providing clients with an array of healthcare options.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of HCAM News. I'm HCAM News Director Tom Nappy. On today's edition of HCAM News, we have the latest Hopkinton Hillers sports highlights, including senior night festivities, and a brand new episode of the Hangout Hour took place. But first, the Hopkinton School Committee launched a maskless trial. The Hopkinton School Committee discussed masks at last week's meeting. To start off the meeting, they heard student survey results from the Hopkinton Student Council.
We sent out a survey to the entire student body at the high school in anticipation of this meeting. So we're going to share those results with you guys too. Overall, as you can see, most of the students were in favor of going mask optional. Approximately 68% of students, which was 506 students, voted in favor of the mask optional policy, and 28%, or 207 students, voted against it. Also notable, 27 students chose the other option, but most of those responses were in favor of the mask optional policy, but just wanted to clarify that only vaccinated individuals would be able to remove their masks. So we received a total of around 740 responses out of approximately 1,216 total students at the high school. So that's almost 2/3 of the students responding to the survey, which is probably like the biggest engagement we've gotten with a survey ever at the high school. So that was
congratulations.
Yeah,
Yes,
students are definitely, they have a lot of opinions on this and want their voices to be heard, which is great.
Later in the meeting, School Superintendent Dr. Carol Kavanaugh shared data amongst Hopkinton schools that was in coordination with Health Director Sean McAuliffe.
I will review with people the vaccination rates in the community just because I think it's so important to this conversation tonight. If you take a look at the 12 to 15 years of age and the 16 to 19 years of age, you'll see that both of those exceed the 95% marker. When our town public health official, Sean McAuliffe, was here, he indicated to us a couple of weeks ago that it's probably closer to 98%. And people may also wonder, why is that population number in some places actually smaller than the number of fully vaccinated people? How can that happen? And so just so you know, there are people who do not fill out the census. And so if you look at the census report data, in the ages of between 16 and 19, the census report tells us that 987 people that fit that age span live in Hopkinton. But in reality, we have 1,040 people vaccinated. So there are more people vaccinated because they have to report their vaccination. They don't necessarily report themselves on the census list. That's good news, actually.
The superintendent presented a possible solution for mask use in Hopkinton schools.
My belief is that we should establish a trial period. And I know that there are people who would say, let's do the trial period in January. And I think, well, we could be in the heart of flu season in January. We could be having a spike in cases because people traveled over the winter holidays. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not necessarily sure that I think that there's an ideal time. But I do like the time period, if we're thinking about doing it right now, between November 1st and November 19th. That gives us 3 weeks of sort of full lifting of the mask mandate to say, what happened? Did it work? Were there breakthrough cases? Was absenteeism increased? What data can we sort of mine from those 3 weeks? I would ask students to return to universal masking actually on Monday, November 22nd, which is the Monday before Thanksgiving. And I hesitated about that. I wondered, should we go with before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving? And part of me thinks that it's just kind of easier if in those 2 days we kind of come back. We say, let's get back to the masking so that it's sort of part of your just regular routines and behavior. I sometimes think that if you go on a great big vacation like that for 5 days over Thanksgiving, and then you come back, everybody's, sometimes you're almost school groggy, right? Because you haven't been there in so long that you have to reacclimate yourselves. But I think it's nice to say we're back in action before we have to do that on a Monday morning with everybody coming back in the building, and we're handing out masks and chasing people down who forgot them and all of that. And then the last thing that I would recommend is that I think it's important that the committee vote in language to reinstate mandated masking at any time in case there is a sharp rise in cases. And so I would work very carefully with Sean McAuliffe to take a look at that. If we take off masks and suddenly 2 weeks in, we realize that that number that used to say 2 now says 22, it might be time to say this was a failed experiment, and we put them back.
The school committee voted 3-2 in favor of a mask optional policy in schools. The policy will be on a trial basis from November 1st until November 19th. The 19-day trial period will be for gathering data, such as breakthrough cases and tracking greater absenteeism because of COVID-19-like symptoms. You can read more about this at hcam.tv. We're going to take a quick time out on this edition of HCAM News. A whole lot more ahead. Stay tuned. HCAM programming is supported by our viewers, thank you, and by Phipps Insurance Agency, representing companies such as MapFree Insurance. Their family-owned independent agency is deeply rooted in the communities they serve and offer time-tested insurance products to fit individual needs. Since 1950, Phipps Insurance specializes in home, auto, business, condo, and renters insurance. Welcome back to HCAM News. A whole lot of Hopkinton Hillers sports, including many senior nights, took place last week. We have a big batch of highlights this week, so sit back, relax, and take a look at the latest in Hiller sports. On Tuesday, October 19th, Hiller boys soccer celebrated senior night before taking on Norwood. The Hillers got the scoring rolling in the first half.
Bassington approaching, takes the shot, leaves it out in front, and Schnorr trips up, but he's able to put it in. Owen Schnorr totally lost his footing, and the ball ended up going off his chest into the net. Schnorr with the goal, Bassington with the assist. It's there. Finds Ito. Ito looking for Schnorr. Schnorr with a nice move. Leaves it out in front, shot, and it's a goal! That was Schnorr to Pierce Farrell to make it 2-0 Hillers. Schnorr gives it a boot off the keeper. Michaud puts it in! Off the deflection! The junior Dylan Michaud pokes it in. And that'll be Owen Schnorr with the assist. The score comes at 5:41 left to go in the first half.
The Hillers take the win by a final of 5-0. Hillers improved to 11 wins and 3 losses and a tie with the victory. On Wednesday, October 20th, Hiller girls volleyball took on Holliston for their annual Side Out Foundation game to raise money in the fight against breast cancer. Steve Sweetapple and Matt Clancy on the call.
Good serve. Catherine, KP, outside, Annabelle, good swing. And that's it. Hopkinton takes the first set, 25-15. It was a little raggedy there.
Yeah.
At the beginning, Matt.
Great composure by the Hillers. You know, they were down by, I think it was 5 or 6 at one point in the first set, and just really did not panic and came back and won the set pretty handily.
The Hillers capture the sweep and raised over $8,000 for the Side Out Foundation. Congratulations, Hopkinton, on a job well done. Also on Wednesday, October 20th, Hiller field hockey celebrated senior night before taking on Holliston. Josie Ziegler is the first senior. She's a back and a captain of this team. Coming out, we have Avery Hutchinson. Avery Hutchinson, a back. Emma Torgerson now, one of the captains. After the senior night festivities, Holliston netted 3 goals in the first half and 3 more in the second half to take the game 6-0. Holliston improves to 11-1-2. Hillers fall to 0-12-1. Field hockey was back in action the following day, Thursday, October 21st, where they took on Bellingham, and the Hillers netted a pair of goals towards the end of the first quarter.
Sends it out in front. Looking for the shot. And there it is! Camille Perlov nets a goal. Souza trying to work her way in, out in front. Perlov takes a shot and it's put in! It was Perlov on the initial shot. I believe Maddie Hauser might have tapped it in.
Hillers net another goal in the third quarter.
Perlov trying to sneak through. Sends it over. Locke with a shot. It's in! 3-0 Hillers.
And 2 more goals in the fourth quarter.
And that is popped in. It was Perlov up to Souza, and Souza pops it in. Perlov, top of the circle, shot, out in front, and it's put in! That was Maddie Hauser putting that one in.
Hopkinton earned their first win of the season 5-0 over Bellingham and improved to 113-1 overall. On Friday, October 22nd, Hiller Boys Soccer hosted undefeated 12-0-1 Holliston. It was a scoreless game heading into the second half, but the Hillers struck early in the second frame.
Westwood football games the last few years have been great back and forth games. There's a shot and a goal! And the Hillers are up 1-0. And that was Golombuski who punched it in.
Sean Golombuski delivered a goal 45 seconds in, and that would be followed up a few minutes later with another one.
Hankley, nice feed to Schnorr. Schnorr takes a shot, it's in! What a goal! Owen Schnorr! Assist Carlos Hankley!
Owen Schnorr strikes at 26:18 left. Hillers took the game 2-0 and handed Holliston their first loss of the season. The only 2 blemishes on Holliston's record are a tie and a loss, both from the Hillers. Hopkinton improved to 12-3-1. Holliston falls to 12-1-1. At night on Friday, October 22nd, Hiller football hosted Westwood. Westwood would strike on the opening drive.
And this time, under center, they have Andy Weedman. And he's going to take it to the near side, find some room. To the end zone he goes, and it's a Westwood touchdown. A 6-yard touchdown run by the sophomore, Andy Weeman.
The Hillers responded on the following drive.
And he'll get the call. Over to the near side he goes. Finds a little room. Past the 40, and he's brought down around the 45. A good run to start things off by Joe Carazza. Seamus Murphy, the lone receiver to his left, takes the snap, looking to pass. Under pressure, rolls to his left, and he's going to take it himself. The 30, the 25, and he's brought out of bounds at around the 20. 2 receivers to his right. Hands it off to Carazza, cutting towards the far side. The 5, and into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Hillers! A 9-yard touchdown run by Joe Carazza. And just like that, the Hillers respond.
The extra point put the Hillers up 7-6 with just over a minute left in the opening quarter. In the second quarter, Westwood strung together a quick touchdown drive.
Space, 30, 25, up the sideline he goes, cutting across at the 10 towards the goal line. And it looks like he's going to be stopped just short of the end zone at the 1-yard line. And that's going to be a 28-yard run. He'll hand it off. Maroon up the middle and into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Westwood. Westwood was short a player. The snap, the kick, end over end, and it is no good. So it'll stay a 12-7 game.
Westwood driving again towards the end of the half until this happens.
In the backfield, it's Maroon. He gets the call. Up the middle he goes. And this is going to be close. Did he get in? And the ball came out, and the Hillers recovered. I believe it was Paul Litcher who recovered it.
Paul Litcher keeps the score, 12-7 heading into the halftime break. The Hillers open the second half with a bang.
Litcher out of the gun once again. Carazza the up back. Aiden Kelly to his right. Takes the snap. Throws up the right side seam. Hauled in by Wyatt Stevens. And Stevens has a big gain. Moving in tight. Takes the snap. It's a keeper up the middle. And with ease into the end zone. Robert Litcher. Touchdown, Hillers. Out of the eye. Fakes the pitch. Rolls to his left and connects with Matt Pantera.
A nice touchdown drive lasting about 5 minutes, and a 2-point conversion makes it a 15-12 Hillers lead. Fourth quarter, Westwood finding some offense and on a drive until this happens.
Left takes the snap. Throws to his left. It's caught along the left side hash marks by Pizzuto. Now he fumbles it, but he recovers as he lands on it at around the 25. A field goal would tie it, but Westwood hasn't had much luck in the kicking game tonight. Donegan takes the snap, and he throws an interception! Picked off! And it's going to be ran up the far side. And that was Paul Litcher coming up with what is likely the game-winning interception.
Paul Litcher with an interception comes up big on the defensive side of the ball once again, and the Hillers hang on for the 15-12 victory and improve to 3 wins and 4 losses on the season. Hopkinton heads to Holliston next Friday night. Paul Litcher, your player of the game, with the key fumble recovery at the end of the first half and game-clinching interception. Also on Friday night, Hiller girls volleyball captured a road sweep over Ashland. The win improved the team to 18-0 and gave head coach Margie Grabmeyer her 300th career win. Congratulations, Coach Grabmeyer, on the tremendous accomplishment. Hello, everybody. Tom Nappy here, and today we're joined by Hopkinton Hillers boys varsity hockey head coach Scott Hayes. Coach, congratulations on becoming the next head coach of Hillers boys varsity hockey. You must certainly be excited.
I am. Thank you very much, Tom. Very excited to, to join the program and help these boys out.
Absolutely. So for those that don't know, can you tell us about your background coaching hockey? You were the girls coach for the Hillers last year. Tell us a little bit about your background.
So background, go back to my playing days quickly. I played my high school hockey at Nobles. I was a captain at Tufts University. After that, joined the workforce. About 10 or 15 years later, I got the opportunity to be an assistant coach at Becker College with the coach that I played for at Tufts. So it was just a great situation for me. I was there for 3 years. I fell in love with the coaching part of the game. It was the most fun that I had since I had played my last meaningful game. From Becker, I actually had to stop at Becker because we were expecting our third child right as the season was starting, and the time commitment was a little bit too tough. But when I left Becker, I started looking for more opportunities because I loved it so much. I did a little bit of club hockey coaching, some high school age kids down in Rhode Island. And then as my kids over the past few years have come of age, we've been heavily involved with the Franklin Youth Hockey Program. I was running the Franklin in-house mites program here in town. And, now I'm up with the Minuteman Flames as my kids are getting older and coaching here in Franklin still. So I can't get enough of it. I look for any opportunity that I can to get on the ice, to teach the game. I love every minute of it.
And the Hopkinton hockey program has made some big playoff runs the last few years, and they have really just seemed to have gotten better and better throughout the last few years and into one of the most competitive programs in the state. Do you know anything about this year's team and how are signups going? Are a lot of kids signing up?
So I had a chance to meet the team and some prospective players last week. It was a group of excited kids. I'm very excited to get the season started. I do want to say, Coach McPherson did an amazing job over the past 10 years. And, he really built a strong reputation and foundation for this program. And, I'm just excited, to try my best to help keep that going. The outlook for this year, when I talked to the boys last week is, on paper, everybody sees we graduated 9 seniors. Most of those were major contributors. We lost our starting goalie, but, I think these days more than ever, more than back when I played, I think the kids are, young kids are more equipped to handle significant roles on a varsity team. And that goes back to just the way the game has changed since I was growing up playing. It seems like these kids, have tremendous amount of opportunities to get on the ice, and people are playing year round and from multiple teams. And, there's outside skills and skating programs that they're all into. So, I love to see that, but I do think that, it's kind of funny. I think that my young sons are mites, and there was no way that I was as good as them when I was a mite, back when I was playing. So, I see that firsthand, and I'm excited that these young kids coming in to the Hillers program, they're going to have great opportunity, to have a solid spot and a contributing spot on the team. And if, I remember back when I played, that's all you can ask for, to have a shot and to be able to go for it and to, secure your spot in a program, that's exciting.
Absolutely. And of course, they play at the New England Sports Center as the girls team did for their first time last year. I don't know about you, but I just love the New England Sports Center. I think it's just a great facility they play at. Do you know who's taken over the girls program?
I do not know that right now. The search is ongoing, I think.
How was your experience coaching that program?
It was amazing, Tom. You know, we had a short COVID season, and, you know, I felt like people all around the rinks, you know, were talking about that as it was a bad thing. I thought that the girls program last year.
It's time to tell you about some happenings in town you should know about coming up on Saturday, November 20th at 6:30 p.m. at the Hopkinton Country Club. It's a roaring 20s evening gala sponsored by the Hopkinton Country Club Charitable Foundation. You can find more information at our website, hcam.tv. Sponsor a family for Thanksgiving, brought to you by Project Just Because. Project Just Because needs your help to serve the local families who are struggling to put a meal on the table. You can make this Thanksgiving one to remember for a family in need. Visit projectjustbecause.org/Thanksgiving to learn more and donate. We have a couple pictures of the week this week. On October 19th, Hopkinton Hillers boys varsity soccer celebrated their senior night prior to their 5-0 win versus Norwood. We have a bunch of their senior night photos that are seen in the Hopkinton website, which you can find at seeninhopkinton.org. Thanks a bunch to our good friend and volunteer and HCAM board member, John Ritz. And we had some rainy, windy weather this week. On October 27th, a tree down on Ash Street due to a nor'easter that hit the area. It did close the road for quite a few hours. This photo is courtesy of the Hopkinton DPW. Upcoming town government meetings include on Monday, November 1st at 7 p.m. We have the planning board meeting. It'll be live on HCAM TV. On Tuesday, November 2nd at 7 p.m., we have the Conservation Commission meeting, airing live on HCAM TV. For all the upcoming town government meetings, visit hopkintonma.gov. Believe it or not, we are out of time for this edition of HCAM News. But don't worry, next Thursday at 6:30 p.m., we'll be back. For everyone at HCAM, I'm Tom Nappy. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody.